What happens when a cat wakes up one morning and thinks it's a dog? Does it start barking at the mailman? Fetch sticks in the park? Or maybe it simply tries to blend in with the pack. You've heard of cats who act like humans, but what about a cat who's convinced it's a dog? Now, that's a mystery worth unraveling. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey inside the bizarre mind of a feline who's taken dog-like behavior to the next level. Meet Whiskers. Not your average tabby. This cat has an identity crisis. When the sun rises and the birds start chirping, Whiskers doesn't stretch lazily on the windowsill, waiting for her owner to drop food into her bowl. No, that's for normal cats. Whiskers? She's already barking at the neighbor's dog, thinking, why can't I be that energetic? I bet I could fetch that ball if I tried hard enough. It all started on a sunny morning when Whiskers, who normally enjoys basking in the sun with the grace of royalty, found herself chasing after her owner's slippers. Yes, slippers. The owner had no idea what was happening. One moment, Whiskers was purring softly, and the next, she was leaping onto the couch like a kangaroo, knocking over a cup of coffee, and then darting after the slipper like it was her prey. But here's the twist. When she grabbed it, she didn't pounce like a typical cat would. No. She ran across the room, wagging her tail, as if to say, look, I'm fetching. You throw, I fetch. It's clear now. Whiskers, despite having all the characteristics of a typical feline, the whiskers, the sharp claws, the sleek coat, had developed a serious case of dogitis. A condition so rare, it's practically unheard of. How did it happen? Could it be the strange way her owner had been training her? Or was this just fate? Maybe Whiskers had always been a dog trapped in a cat's body. You'd think that being a cat would mean sleeping in until the sun is high in the sky, but not Whiskers. Oh no, she's an early riser, ready to take on the day with all the energy of a golden retriever puppy. Every morning, while the house is still quiet and the world hasn't fully woken up yet, Whiskers is already up, pacing back and forth, waiting by the door. Her owner, let's call her Sarah, often finds herself groggily staring at her cat, who is energetically scratching at the door, as if asking to go out for a walk. But Whiskers isn't waiting for a leisurely stroll. No, this cat has a mission. She wants to run, to leap, to chase, to retrieve things. You see, no matter how many times Sarah opens the door to let her outside, Whiskers never really seems interested in exploring the yard like a typical cat. Instead, she's looking for action. Her eyes lock onto the neighbor's dog, who's joyfully barking at the squirrels in the tree. And in an instant, Whiskers sprints across the yard, her tiny paws pounding against the grass like she's in a race. Is this a game? Sarah asks herself, staring at her cat, now wagging her tail. Yes, cats have tails, but this one's wagging like a pro. But there's more. Much more. Whiskers' behavior escalated after Sarah decided to take her to the park. She had heard of people who took their cats for walks, so why not try something new? Maybe, just maybe, Whiskers would calm down and relax. Wrong. The moment Whiskers set paw on the grass, she was off. Gone. Out of sight. And what was she doing? She wasn't sniffing around or rolling in the grass. No, Whiskers was running, eyes wide, focused on the ball that Sarah had thrown. And in a feat of determination and maybe delusion, Whiskers did the unthinkable. She chased that ball down with a speed that could rival any Labrador. You might be wondering, how did this happen? It's simple. Whiskers had decided she was a dog. Who's to argue with that kind of confidence? The next few hours in the park were a whirlwind of Whiskers jumping, running, and attempting to fetch sticks, her tiny paws swinging with all the might of an Olympic athlete. But just as Sarah thought her cat would tire out, Whiskers did something even more bizarre. She rolled in the grass. Yep, rolling. The action so typical of dogs who've just found something delightful. And there was Sarah standing frozen, holding a leash to a cat who was definitely not following the rules. It didn't stop there. Whiskers' transformation was complete in every sense of the word. Her eating habits shifted drastically. Instead of delicately nibbling at her gourmet cat food, she'd sit next to the dog's bowl and wait, until the dog had finished its food. Then, and only then, would Whiskers dive in, eating not like a proud feline, but more like a dog who had been starved for attention. Is she competing for food now? Sarah pondered, watching her cat gobble down kibble with the ferocity of a hungry puppy. Sarah couldn't help but laugh, unsure whether to feel proud or completely baffled. But it was a sight. There was Whiskers confidently patting her paws, wagging her tail, as if to say, I'm the top dog around here. And with every bite, Sarah couldn't stop wondering, how did we get here? Whiskers, much like a dog, had developed a strong sense of territoriality. But instead of a garden or a front porch, Whiskers' domain was the entire neighborhood. You might have thought it was a simple thing for a cat to lounge on a windowsill, but Whiskers wasn't about that life. No. Whiskers was guarding the house. And if you thought that was strange, you haven't heard the half of it. Whenever the mailman arrived, Whiskers would plant herself firmly on the windowsill, staring intensely at the man in the postal uniform. She wasn't just watching him. She was barking. Yes, barking like a dog. If you think that's absurd, just wait. The day the UPS truck pulled up, Whiskers launched herself at the window, clawing at the glass with a look of pure determination. She was ready to defend her home. As the truck drove off, Whiskers turned around with a victorious look in her eyes. Her tail swished like a proud hound. Mission accomplished. She'd successfully scared off the delivery truck. Sarah could only laugh, shaking her head in disbelief. But in the back of her mind, a question lingered. Is Whiskers really a cat, or has she somehow become a dog? Now, before you start feeling too sorry for Whiskers, remember, she's living her truth. Whiskers didn't wake up and choose to be a dog because she wanted to be something else. She did it because she felt it. Every day, she embraces her dog-like tendencies without shame. In a world where everyone is trying to fit in, maybe there's a lesson here. Whiskers has found a way to blend the best of both worlds, to defy expectations, and to make a path that's uniquely hers. In her mind, she's not limited by labels or society's rules. She's both a cat and a dog. And that, my friends, is a reminder for us all. So next time you're feeling stuck in a box, remember Whiskers. Maybe you too can break free of the label that holds you back. Maybe you're a little bit of everything, and that's perfectly fine. But here's something to think about. If you could choose any animal traits, what would you pick? Would you be a cat who thinks it's a dog, or would you be something entirely different?